Yo, traders, how are we? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome back to Simply Forex. Hope you are all having a wonderful week. In today's live stream, we are going to look at a trade that I am currently in. I've had 2 bites at this cherry so far, so we'll take a look at that trade. We're also going to look at other things setting up, although there isn't much, to be honest, guys, because we've got such big news coming out later, right? So it's a bit of a sit on your hands. We are also going to look at the news coming out during the live stream. So we do have some, housing starts and building permits all coming out of the US, which is, reasonably big news. But you can't help but think the market will be very muted until later on, right? We've got the Fed interest rate decision later. It doesn't get any bigger than this news, right? And because of all the crappy employment data and generally bad data that's been coming out of the US, everyone is expecting an interest rate drop, an interest rate cut. So Donald Trump will be happy. We'll see if that actually happens. If it doesn't, that would be quite a shock. But usually, guys, the interest rate comes out as expected. It's more what is said in here, like economic projections. And again, after the interest rate decision, we have the press conference half an hour later. So it's more about what is said in there as well. Yes, so big news. If that wasn't enough, we also have the Canadian dollar interest rate decision later today as well. So again, big news. And they are also cutting their interest rate by 25 basis points. So again, we'll see what happens there. And again, you can see you've got the press conference 45 minutes later. And that, if this is as expected in here, right, 2.5, then the press conferences become so important, right? Because that's where they talk about projections, forecasts, how they arrived at that interest rate figure. It's really big news, big bad boy mummy news all day, really. We've also had, pound CPI that was all as expected, no big reaction there. And we've seen Euro CPI that was worse than expected. And we have seen a little bit of weakness in the Euro. There you go, guys. Big news day. So we'll take a look at some of the reaction. I'm going to show you a trade that I am in right now. And also, guys, please get as many of your questions over to me about trading. All right. So if there's anything you want to know about trading or you need help with, then please let me know. Right. We can have a look at it live on this live stream today. All right. And it can be anything to do with trading. That also reminds me, straight away after this live stream, I've released a free tutorial into the wild. So there will be a YouTube video that discusses how to master your trading entries. Check that out. That is at 9 a.m. EST. So when this finishes, 15 minutes later, we have a free tutorial coming out. Go check it out. What else did I want to tell you before we get started? I can see people coming in, guys. So we'll say hello to everyone in a minute. I want to let you know that I did a pub quiz last night, not on my own. I do have friends. And we've done a pub quiz and we won. We won the pub quiz in a bar called McGettigan's. And I will give you a few of the quiz questions throughout this live stream if I can remember some. Let's do one straight away, in fact. What is the largest lake by surface area in Africa? So one of the questions, guys. So I'll start with that one. Let's see who has good quiz knowledge. All right, guys. So let's start with pound Canadian dollar. And this has been the story of my life so far this week. I've had to have two 2 bites at the same trade, which is fine because I hedge. But we're going to look at this as if I didn't hedge. Okay, now the trade I got into was pound Canadian dollar sells. Why did I get into it? Well, let's start with the weekly chart. Because on the weekly chart, you can see that we are at key resistance, right? We came up and hit this once. Look at the reaction we got, right? It's come up and hit it again. You know, we can expect some sellers, right? How far they will take it, we don't know, but we can expect sellers, right? And sure enough, on the day chart, we've actually talked about this a little bit yesterday. On the day chart, we have had some bearish candles form, right? Big bearish negative candle, and even this candle with this wick is big and bearish. So lots of selling pressure, and we are, you know, a little bit overbought. We're away from the moving average 20, and we potentially have all this room to come back down to this next piece of support. Now, I got in this nice and early today, thinking, you know, price would move a little bit before, before the Canadian dollar interest rate. We might be in this trade when that is released, right? We shall see. But anyway, we like this for sells for those reasons. And then if we drop down to the H4, right, I was seeing a head and shoulders pattern, right? We're seeing kind of this pattern form. But ultimately, we're seeing lower. Ultimately, right, we are seeing lower highs, right? We haven't seen lower lows yet, okay? And then what I've also been doing, guys, right, I'm going to share this in the VIP Trading Academy, but I'm looking at an entry using the H4 and H1, right? And it's all about candles that sweep and close, right? So you can see that this candle swept above this high and closed back below it, right? Then we had this candle sweep these highs and close back below it. Now this candle so far is doing the same. It's broken these highs and is sweeping back below it. Now, why am I looking at this? Because, you know, lots of the time, the market will sweep a lot of stops, you know, liquidity grabs, whatever you want to call them, stop hunts. They will sweep trades and then come, you know, crashing down in this case, right? So that's the idea, the premise behind these sweeping candles. I'm going to call it the sweeping strategy. Cunningly named. I will come up with a better name for it. But yeah, I'm basically looking at things right now, guys. I have back tested it because I am entering trades right now using it as well. I just haven't shared it with everyone just yet. So yeah, that is the trade that I am in. But I had to have 2 goes at this because first of all, we had this sweeping candle that closed back in. That is bearish, right? And I actually started entering here, stops up here, right? And you can see first bite of the cherry, I have got stopped out here, right? Now, those of you that, you know how I trade, guys, I hedged this. So I've actually just closed my hedge and carried on with my original trade. However, if you don't hedge, I have entered this trade again. I've started selling here, stops here, and now this is my target. Now, let's understand the money management here a little bit. We probably don't talk about money management enough, right? But each trade, I risk 1%. When I'm hedging, that can go up to 3%. But a standalone trade, yeah, would be 1%. Okay, so you can see on my first trade, right, I've got stopped out. I am minus 1%. Okay, now in my second trade, if it doesn't work out, right, and this stop loss gets hit here, which it hasn't, obviously, I will be another minus 1%. Okay, but if this trade works out, the risk to reward here is now 1:2. So if this trade does work out, right, then I was -1, and then I will be +2%. So I will actually be +1% if this trade works out, right? If it doesn't, I'll be -2%. So that is the only trade that I'm in, guys. We'll keep an eye on that. And yeah, all I want to do is just take price down to here. But on the day chart, it looks like it does have a little bit more room to move into. You know, off this level, can we bring it down potentially all the way to here? I may well leave some profits to run. So that's me, guys. Pound Canadian dollar. That is the only trade that I am in. Right, let's say hello to a few people right now. Okay, so we've got Parandeep is in Aussie dollar, US dollar buys and pound Aussie dollar sells. Okay, I'm in pound Canadian dollar sells. A bit of synergy there. We'll take a look at both of those. I do like Aussie dollar, US dollar buys today. But again, we've got the biggest of big, massive, humongous, enormous, gigantic news today. I couldn't use enough adjectives to describe it. So yeah, US dollar trades are obviously a little bit, yeah, but there's still plenty of time for the trade to play out. But we'll look at them. Also, hi Luigi, how are you? Michael, how are you? Big news day today. Yes, it is Michael. PJ, how are you? I hear you was away for the summer. Welcome back. Good to see you. Daniel, what's up? And Daniel, not touching the US dollar pairs at the moment. We might be in for a surprise later. Well, the dollar's definitely going to do something later. What that is, we do not know, but we shall see what Fed Chair Powell says later. Right, let's have a look at Parandeep because he is in an Aussie dollar, US dollar buy. Now, I really like Aussie dollar, US dollar buys. And before we look at this, guys, I'm going to give you a quiz question from last night. Okay, so those of you who I was in a quiz last night and my team won. I answered a few questions. There was a couple of other smarter people, but there you go. Right, where in Africa is the Serengeti? Okay, so that is my first quiz question. Feel free to answer it in the live chat. No cheating, no looking at Google. Yeah, so where is the Serengeti in Africa? Right, Parandeep, Aussie dollar, US dollar. Yeah, I mean, let's start with weekly, actually. Right, now, we like it. We have had a break of a key resistance level on the weekly. Right, we're in this, yeah, uptrend. Right, we get these lows in here held and we broke these highs. We are clearly in an uptrend. And we have a nice big bullish candle, right? And we've got a bit of room to move into. I was just going to take price to the 0.6700 psychological level. If targets are not that clear, guys, or not that close, right? You know, you can see there's a level up here, so that could be a target. Even a level up here, that could be a target. You know, but they're quite a distance away. So if that is the case, you know, I typically go for the next psychological level. So in this case, it is 6,700. All right. Now, if we drop down to the day chart, I like, you know, structurally, we're in this uptrend, right? It is flying. Things are a little bit overbought, right? There's no two ways about it. They are, right? Look at the Smart River. It's miles away from that. Right, and the Smart River is pretty much the mean of the market, as in price reverts to the river. And you know, we are overbought, but look at the candles, super bullish, a bit more room to move into. So yeah, I still like Aussie dollar, US dollar. If we look at the H4, as long as H4 structure doesn't break down, right, which it clearly isn't. right? I'm still interested in buying Aussie dollar, US dollar, potentially back up to these highs, if not further. Right, potentially getting a nice setup now, right? We're getting a nice bullish candle at our river, right? The daily is bullish, yeah, so looking like a good setup. And all of this, guys, all the river, the daily signal is all part of our new price action pro indicator. If you're interested, check out the links in the description. So yeah, like Aussie dollar, US dollar buys, pound Aussie dollar sells. I hear you, right? If we look at the day chart, we are clearly in a downtrend and price has come back to this last low. What was once support becomes very good resistance. And we really like this setup. And at that level, look at the bearish reaction we got. So yeah, I like pound Aussie dollar sells as well. We've even broken these lows, right? So yeah, I like pound Aussie dollar sells. So why am I umming and ahhing? Because, you know, really, I'm umming and ahhing because I'm not sure about value. Is there enough value in selling down here? Or does the market want to come up a little further? Does the market want to wait for, you know, the river to catch up? This is my only issue with this, right? So yeah, but it's looking like a good sell trade. But if we look on the H4, it's in an uptrend. Okay, you can clearly see we have broken those highs in here and we've retraced. You know, on the H4, we've even got a trend line coming through here, right? You can see there's a trend there. It's looking like a good buy trade on the H4. Now, I would be interested, let me move this alarm, if we got a breakdown in H4 structure, right? So if we ended up doing something like this, and then we got a break of these lows, right, I would be interested in selling back down to these lows. All right, but as it's in a H4 uptrend, I am less keen on selling pound Aussie dollar and more keen on buying Aussie dollar, US dollar. Right, did anyone answer my quiz question? Jane, hi Jane, how are you? Tarzan here. Daniel, Kenya, no, is not the correct answer. East Africa is correct, but a bit too vague. You are in the right vicinity. Iran Kunda, Tom, I'm waiting for pound yen sells and gold. What do you think? Yeah, I like pound yen sells. I really do. And Daniel, you are correct. Tanzania. 3 points for Daniel. That is where the Serengeti is. And that's where they have that mass migration of wildebeest. There's like hundreds of thousands of them just whizzing through the Serengeti. Okay, so Daniel, 1 point to you. Let me give you another quiz question. What else was there? What kind of acid do ants create? I didn't know the answer to this, but we've got this, you know, scientist dude on our team, and he knew it. But can I remember the answer? Yeah, what kind of acid do ants create? There you go. That's the next quiz question. Yeah, and also, guys, right, we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at pound yen sales, and we're gonna look at gold, right? So just 1 second. But yeah, this is really important, guys, right? Because I want to help traders and create tutorials for traders, right? And that's basically what I do in the VIP Trading Academy, right? And is there hundreds, tens of tutorials in there, right? So I would like to know what do you need help with, guys, right? If you want to, you know, what aspects of your trading do you need help with? And it can be anything, guys. Don't think, oh, this is too trivial, or I should know this really. It doesn't matter. Anything you need help with, please let me know. right? Come join our free Discord, right? The link's in the description. And then come in there and say, Tom, I would like a tutorial on this, please. Don't forget the manners with the please and thank yous. And yeah, come in and tell me what you want tutorials on, guys. Yeah, because I'm happy to create them. You know what trading's like, guys. You do have a lot of time in your hands, right? So I've got time during the day to create some tutorials for you. Right, back to and also, guys, there's a tutorial straight after this video. I'm releasing a tutorial on how to master trade entries. Okay, so go check that out. Pound yen. I like pound yen, right? I really do. We have already had a breakdown, right? So on the daily, if we go to the weekly, right, we are at a key weekly resistance level. It's the same as pound Canadian dollar, really, right? We are at a weekly resistance level. And then on the daily, sellers have come in strong. And we've also seen a bit of yen strength, right? So sellers have come in strong. It is against trend, right? This has become a bullish market, right? You can see with our indicator here as well, if you're not sure. But this would be an against trend trade. And we're at a weekly resistance level, nice big daily bearish candle. And if we look at the H4, we have nicely broken down, right? We've had a breakdown, stopped making higher highs, right? And bang, broken these lows in here. We are in a downtrend. And you can see how Smart River, it's smart, it turns red. It tells you we're in a downtrend. And, you know, I spoke about at the start of the live stream, we've got one of these sweepy candles, right? It has swept all the high of the previous candle, even these candles, and closed back in, right? So I am interested in selling this. We've only got 30 odd minutes before this H4 candle finishes. You know, if this H4 candle finishes like this, I'm less keen on this trade, right? But we can also see, right, we've broken, there's a really clear trend line here. Yeah, you can see Bryce, you know, I really like this combination. We've broken horizontal structure and we've broken out of a trend line. So I really like the look of pound yen sells, although we are against daily trend. We must point that out. But I would like, you know, let's have a look at the H1. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice level now for selling, I would say. Start selling here, stops above these two levels here. I'd probably put my stops up here, right? And then we can look to take price lower. So yeah, I like pound yen sells, but obviously I am in pound Canadian dollar sells. So yeah, really like that. And then gold, it's the same old story with gold. Okay, you know, we want to sell it. Sorry, we don't want to sell it. We want to buy it. I mean, just look at it, right? It's a runaway train. Elvis has left the building. It is in an almighty uptrend, right? Everything is playing into gold's hands, right? We're getting a weak dollar, right? It's against the dollar. We're getting loads of central banks buying up gold, and we got lots of turbulence in the world, right? And you know, are these indices a little bit overinflated, right? Now, all of this is playing into gold strength, okay? But there is just there's no interest from me in buying up here. You know, I say this every week about gold. There is just no value in it, like literally none. You know, at the very least, I would want to see a retrace back to these lows, right? You know, the river is the mean, right? And price wants to revert back to the mean. It always has done, it always will do. Now, the mean will catch up with price, right? So maybe if we get this support level here and the river catches up, maybe we've got an entry here. But even then it feels a little bit overextended, right? So yeah, want to buy gold, but there's just no value in this market whatsoever. And it's the same with silver, right? Okay, silver's actually had a bit of a drop. Okay, silver looks more appealing than gold. If you look at the weekly, but again on the weekly, you know, it's so overbought. I mean, look at it. Yeah, they're just a bit overbought. No, not a bit, very overbought. Okay, so Daniel's making a point here about the Aussie dollar. It's at the 200 moving average on the weekly, so could be a resistance level on Aussie dollar, US dollar. Okay, maybe. Yeah, and it is a little bit overextended as well. Pound Aussie dollar, big bearish flag. Yeah. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. Pound Aussie dollar, H4. Okay. This is what you are saying, Daniel, right? This is what Daniel's saying, right? It's a bearish flag pattern. It doesn't matter if you know the names of these or anything. It really doesn't matter, right? But even if you know this pattern or you don't, right? The entry in terms of the textbook exercise entry to trade a bear and flag is when price comes and breaks structure and comes out of the flag anyway. So the level I'm looking at, without even thinking about that being a bear flag, is the same, right? It's price action. So yeah, but interesting, Daniel. Thank you for bringing that up. Luigi is a bloody genius. I didn't think anyone would get this, but yes, ants produce formic acid. Who would have thunk it? So Luigi, good stuff. Daniel, fulvic, close enough. Daniel, it sounds like you've been drinking alcohol and that was your answer. You meant formic, but you're like fulvic. That's that's what that sounds like to me. But you were close. I don't know what that means. Finger red number one. Paul acid. Okay, I need some for mine. Okay, Daniel needs Paul acid. Would formic acid work in Paul? Just get loads of ants. Okay, so we got a question here from God Adam. Okay, so hi Tom, what's your percentage on against trend trades from weekly resistance or support levels? Would you think it's more than 60%, which is in your overall percentage hit rate? It's a very interesting question, Adam, and I don't have the answer, to be perfectly honest. You know, I know over the year, you know, my win percentage generally works out at around 60%. And it has done for, you know, for the last few years. No, but I don't know that. It's just part of my bigger percentage figures. But it'd be interesting. I'll look more into it. I'm not. It has to be a really. There needs to be lots of confluence, right, with me to go against trend. So it has to be, as you said, weekly resistance level, H4 structure break, right, nice retrace, which is what we have on pound Canadian dollar and pound yen. For the actual figures, I don't know individually on that specific strategy. Maybe I bloody should. But good question. And Sifas, Bonacci. Isn't Bonacci an Italian centre-back? Are you friends with Luigi? Are you Italian? So basically, guys, this smart river is going to tell you, right? It's based on price action logic. So it's going to take into account where price has been previously, right? And it's going to use structure breaks to tell you trend as well, right? So you can see when, when structure breaks, right? You can see here, it turns green, right? And we potentially have buy trades if the daily is bullish. And then it also tells us when price breaks down, breaks these lows, it turns red. So it really helps you understand price action. And it's just very visually easier and nicer to use, right? I almost had to, like swallow my ego a bit. I was like, oh, I don't need this to trade, but it's genuinely helped me, right? It's so visually clear how to trade. And it gives you so much information just by looking at the chart, right? I now know structure on the H4 broke at this point and the rivers turn green. And historically speaking, price has retraced to the river and it works that out as well. So yes, I have stopped using the moving average 20 and I use the river. But there's a lot of, how the river works. There's the moving average 20 will be within this river anyway, right? But it just gives us a clear reading and a bit of a margin as to where we can enter. Yeah, I really like this about the new Price Action Pro indicator, and you get daily confirmation as well. And guys, so while I'm at it, if you want access to the Price Action Pro indicator, then please go check our website. In the top left corner on that beautiful banner that the editor has made, you can see our website, www.simply-forex.com. In there, you can get access to our indicator. You can also get access to the complete trading course that I have created. You can get access to the mentorship program where you get coached one-on-one with myself, and you can get access to the VIP Trading Academy. They are all going to help you trade. Go check them out. They are paid, right? Anything worth having is usually not for free. So go check it out, guys. It's all on the website. Also, please come join our free Discord channel. It is free. You can come in, enjoy yourself, talk to traders, share ideas, knowledge. So come join our free Discord channel. And also, guys, today's live stream is brought to you by Pepperstone. And if you switch brokers today with Pepperstone, we will give you a free VIP Academy access, and we'll give you an essential Trading View subscription. Why wouldn't you swap brokers? Right? I don't know. I really don't understand why we don't get more uptake of this promotion. And they're going to be transparent, right? We get some commission. You get a free indicator. You get free access to trading to the VIP, and you get a free essential Trading View subscription. And Pepperstone get a client. Everyone's happy. Everyone's a winner. So go check it all out, guys. It's all in the video description. All the links are there. Right. What else are we looking at? So, okay, let's take a bit of a fundamental question here, right? So Adrian's asked a question here, right? As we know, guys, we've got the Fed interest rate decision later, right? So not sure if this question has been asked as I've just arrived. Adrian, you're late. That's unacceptable. I'm only joking. So with the FOMC, the Fed later, what will that do to dollar pairs? Will 0.25% cut be deemed bullish or bearish for the dollar? So it's a good question, right? Now, ultimately, the the interest rate tells you how expensive a currency is. So if your interest rate is cut or goes down, then the value of the currency goes down, right? So the dollar would go down. But as with a lot of this news, everyone knows, because since the last announcement, it was 4.5. But since then, and that announcement, right, Fed Chair Powell said, we're keeping an eye on employment and inflation. Employment has been shit, right? That's a technical term. You know, remember NFPs were terrible. All the employment's been crap coming out of America. So that has led everyone to the understanding that there will be a Fed rate cut. But it's already been priced in. So when you're getting all this crap employment data, the dollar's getting weaker because the market, the fundamental traders, they know that if we're getting crap employment data, the Fed will reduce the interest rate. So it's already been priced in. So usually it's very muted, right? It comes out of 4.25, which is, you know, it's very rare that we get a miss on an interest rate. It comes out of 4.25. The dollar does nothing. The indices do nothing. But what is in here, the economic projections, and what is said in this press conference can really move the dollar or really move the indices, the economy, right? So in the press conference, if Powell alludes to we might do further rate cuts this year, the dollar will become weak. If he says something like, we're going to reduce it to, we've reduced it to 4.25, and this seems like a good level for our interest rates, and we're going to see how all the data comes into us, and we're going to analyze it, the dollar will just steady, right? Then if he says something like, this will be the last interest rate, this is looking like the last interest rate cut of the year, the dollar will become bullish, right? So it's all based around what Powell is going to say, because probably the interest rate is going to come out as expected, and it's already priced into the market. All right. So Adrian, I hope that clears that up. And Adrian, how's the course going? Yeah. Right. Okay. We have got a couple of people wanting us to look at Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. Before we do, guys, if I could please ask everyone to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Merci beaucoup. Right, let's have a look at Aussie dollar yen. And let's do this one together. I like it when we do things together. Makes me happy. Very, very lonely trader. So, and you don't have to be lonely. Come join our Discord. There you go. So, Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. So we've got a few people wanting to look at Aussie dollar yen, Bonacci and Daniel. Now, everyone, right now, please get involved. Please leave your answer in the live chat. Aussie dollar yen weekly chart, right? You've got three options. Would you buy? Would you sell? Or by default, if you wouldn't do either of those two things, would you stay out? So everyone, please get involved. Would you buy, sell, or stay out of Aussie dollar yen on the weekly chart? While you answer, guys, and get involved, I'm going to have a drink. Right. Price action 101 would buy. PJ would buy. Did you get a happy ending? Faraz, I'm not too sure what this is referring to. Bonacci would stay out. Daniel would buy. Cass would buy. Luigi would buy. Fizzo would buy. Yeah, it is quite clear, isn't it? Right now, obviously, the Fed and everything that's going to be said today could have a massive impact on this, but it's clearly a buy, right? We are in a weekly uptrend, like clearly. That is, that there's no ambiguity there. It's one of those beautifully clear trends, right? Higher lows, right? Higher highs. Okay, so we're in an uptrend, clear as day. And we've got a bit of room to move into. There's a bit of potential resistance here, right? So if we go across, we've got up until 98.79. So 99 is probably a good target. So totally agree, right? In an uptrend, bullish candle, broke a key resistance level, and we got room to move into. What is not to like, right? Now, I'm going to ask the same question, but this time on the daily chart. So again, guys, what would you do? Would you buy? Yeah, so everyone has said buy, literally on the weekly. And I agree. So Andre, Scott, yeah, good. Totally agree, guys, right? But now the daily. So again, same question. Aussie dollar yen daily chart. Would you buy, sell, or stay out of the market? So Daniel is long. Okay, now we've got a slightly different reaction, right? We've got Scott is a stay out, price action is a stay out, PJ is a stay out, Luigi is a stay out. Fizzo is a wait. So yeah, I agree, wait. So a stay out, right? Try to keep your thinking binary, right? Is it a buy, a sell, or stay out? And if you think we should wait, stay out, right? JD, wait. So stay out as well, right? So we're waiting for a pullback. Yes, I agree with the masses. You lot are good at this, right? Yeah, it's as simple as that, guys. We're clearly in an uptrend, right? Nobody's doubting this. We've broken that resistance level, right? The problem is yesterday we had a big bearish candle. That is actually a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. It starts above this candle and totally engulfs it, right? It doesn't get much more bearish than that. So a big bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. We want to buy Aussie dollar yen, but because of yesterday's candle, today was probably not the day, right? So I agree, I would stay out. So again, guys, this is how we roll, right? Collect the information, make decisions. Weekly was 100% a buy trade, right? 100,000% buy trade. But daily is a stay out for now. I don't know why I'm spelling everything. I'm just showing off my mouse writing skills. It's not easy. You try and get a mouse pen, guys, and try writing. It will make you look like a 3-year-old. So for that reason, buy, stay out. I'm not interested today. But, if we got a candle like this, for example, I would be interested in buys, right? I would really like to see a candle come down to here, and then we get a nice big bullish candle. Then I will be all over this, right? It'd be a really nice trade up to here, if not further. But I'm just biding my time and waiting for a nice bullish daily candle. Maybe we get it today. Maybe we get it tomorrow. Maybe we get it Friday, right? We can't control that. But that's what I'll be waiting for. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button and smash the like button. Literally in 15 minutes time, guys, I'm also unleashing a tutorial from the VIP. You normally have to pay for these tutorials, but I'm going to put one into the wild and see how it does. So go check that out. It's going to be a YouTube vid in 15 minutes. Also, guys, yeah, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining me. Please go check out the website. Please join the Discord. Check out the Pepperstone promotion, and I will see you same time again tomorrow. Adios, amigos.